Hi, I'm Chef Asata with Georgia Organics, and we are living La Vida Okra for National Farm to School Month. Join me and some of my okra-loving friends as we share our okra stories and favorite okra recipes.
Hello, my name is Terri Carter, and I am an employee of the University of Georgia's Cobb County Cooperative Extension Office in the Family and Consumer Science Department. So most of my work that I do involves cooking and also gardening. I'm also a master gardener, so I do a lot of programming with young people. I help people to start community gardens and backyard gardens. I'm also the educational chair for the American Community Gardening Association. So I do a lot of work with people, cooking and gardening, and I'm very excited about seed saving, sharing seeds, and also sharing recipes. Suffering succotash. Have you ever heard that term before? Well, if you grew up in the 70s or the 80s, you would have heard that term from Daffy Duck or Sylvester the cat. Suffering succotash. Well, I just kind of wondered, what did that mean and what is succotash? Once I became what I call a food historian, I started to dig a little bit deeper into succotash, what it was, where it came from, was it just a word? And what I found was that it's actually a great dish. And this dish has a wonderful history. So let me tell you a little bit more about the history of succotash. So succotash actually is a dish that has a strong history in the Native American community. And there are so many different Native American tribes that were part of what we know now as the United States of America. But prior to Europeans arriving here, this whole land that we know as America was inhabited by Native Americans, the indigenous people, and they had tribes all across America. In 1643, Roger Williams wrote a book called A Key into the Language of America. So the story is that this gentleman, Roger Williams, he was a Puritan, a Native American supporter, a missionary, a friend, and a trader with Native Americans. He was eventually banished from the Massachusetts Bay Colony for being such a good friend to the Native Americans and also for supporting them. So he ended up founding Providence Plantation that became what we know today as Rhode Island. So in his book, he would take words that were Native American words, and then he would tell you what those words meant in English. And he basically just didn't want to lose all of the Native American language. He wanted to preserve that. But the Narragansett Native American tribe had a word in there, and the word was aquasquash. I think I pronounced that right, but it meant squash. The Native Americans had what they called the Three Sisters method of planting, which was basically beans, corn, and squash. So succotash basically was the corn and the beans, in this case lima beans. But as time went on, this dish evolved. We started to add more and more ingredients to this dish we call succotash, and that is how the okra got involved. So in this case, we look at the African Americans. Once they arrived here and became enslaved by the Europeans on various plantations, they brought with them okra from Africa. And a lot of the Africans would save seeds when they were brought over on the slave ships. They would hide seeds in their hair from their own country, bring these seeds over, and then they would grow them because they had a love for the food from their homeland. So just like American history, food history involves a lot of different ethnic groups. And when you can cook, you're basically cooking memories. So this dish has a lot of memories for different groups of people. This is a historical dish, so I hope you guys will enjoy making it, and I hope you guys will also enjoy tasting it, and I hope it'll be delicious for you.
Let's make okra succotash. We're going to start by heating 1 tablespoon of oil in a large skillet. Once our oil is hot, we'll go ahead and add the onion, bell pepper, and the lima beans. Next, we'll add the corn, then the tomatoes, a teaspoon of brown sugar, pepper, and salt. about 3/4 cup of water here. We're gonna let this simmer for about 10 minutes covered before we add the okra. And there is our finished okra succotash. You can serve it as a vegetarian entree or as a side dish with other foods. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you check out these links and resources. Keep living La Vida Okra. Hey, B.